Hi guys, it's Sharon. In this video, I'm going to show you how to set up your gradebook in eSchool and Schoology if you are calculating by total points. There's a different video to show you how to set up your gradebook if you are weighting your categories. Okay, let's get started. To start off, we're going to go to our gradebook dropdown and choose Setup. Now mine took me to my Categories tab, but if for some reason yours takes you by default to Assignments, just simply click on Categories. The first thing we want to do, since we're calculating the average using total points, is make sure that we check this box right here. It says Calculate Average using total points. This is going to take away the option to weight any of our categories. The next thing you want to decide is if you're going to round your grades and what grading scale you want to choose. I'm going to round my grades and I'm going to use the plus-minus scale. Now, below that is where you're going to select what categories you want to use. You can select as many categories as you want, and since you're calculating average using total points, each category is going to be worth the same amount. I'm going to go ahead and select the categories that I want. I'm going to choose homework. Now the next option I have to choose is drop the lowest. If I were to change this box to a 1 or a 2, it would then drop however many assignments that I put in this box. So if this were a 1, it would drop the lowest assignment from my homework category from calculating against the grade. If this were a 2, it would drop the 2 lowest. For marking period, you don't need to worry about this. It's going to choose the default settings from our master schedule. Next, you're going to go over to exclude missing, and you're going to have to decide whether you want to exclude missing scores from the average or if you want missing scores to count as zeros. It's our recommendation that you choose exclude missing scores from the average, and if you want an assignment that doesn't have a score to count as a 0, simply enter a 0 into that grading scale. I'm going to go ahead and hit save. Now I want more categories than just my homework category. So I'm going to go to the top here where there's this little flag and plus sign and select that. That's going to give me a new row to select another category to choose from. I'm going to choose participation. Again, I'm going to decide if I'm going to drop any. I don't need to worry about my marking periods, and I'm going to follow the same setup, and I'm going to exclude my missing scores from the average. So I can go ahead and just hit save. Now there's one other category that I want to add, so I'm going to go ahead and hit this flag again and hit the plus sign. Again, you can do as many as you need to. This time I'm going to add my tests and quizzes. I'm not dropping any. I'm leaving my marking periods alone. And again, I'm excluding missing scores from the average, so I'm going to hit save. All right, I have all my categories that I want to use set up. So now we can go ahead and jump over into Schoology. We're done setting it up in eSchool. From your courses dropdown, you want to select the course that you set up in eSchool. So I'm going to go ahead and click on my Algebra 1 course. On the left-hand side, you will find a link called eSchool Plus. You will want to select the Configuration tab. This is going to list out all the categories that are available to you in eSchool. You want to scroll through these categories until you find the ones that you use in eSchool. And they are going to look a little bit different to you. So here's the homework one that I set up. You can see how it looks different. It's got a row going across it. What you want to do in order to map this category that you used in eSchool to Schoology is where it says Create New Schoology Category. You want to click that drop down. Now, if you had a category name here that matched the one that you used in eSchool, you would be able to select it. However, since I don't, I'm going to select Create New Schoology Category, and it will create one then that matches. I'm going to continue to do this for all the categories that I used. So I'm going to keep scrolling down, and here's my participation one. So I'm going to do Create New Schoology Category. And then for tests and quizzes, the same. Now again, if you had one called tests and quizzes here in the dropdown, you'd be able to select that. But since I don't, I'm going to select Create New Schoology category. Since that's all the categories that I used, all I need to do now is hit the Save Configuration button. Okay, it says your category configurations have been saved. I just want to verify that everything that I selected did indeed go over to my Schoology gradebook for me to choose. So I'm going to click Gradebook and select Grade Setup. Now, since I did not choose to weight my categories, this Weight Categories checkbox should not be checked. And you can see that it did that by default. Here are the 3 categories that I chose from. And if I click on one of those, I can see that it's being calculated by total points. So that information came over correctly. Now on this page, I have some other options that I can choose from. The grading scale. I'm going to use the SD 129 plus minus scale because that's what I picked in eSchool. I also chose to round my grades in eSchool. So I want to make sure that this is checked. Now by default, this is actually unchecked. So you do want to make sure that you check this if you are rounding grades. And then you can decide if you're going to add grading columns to the gradebook or hide information from student reports. I'm not going to choose any of those, so I'm going to go ahead and hit Save Changes. And now I'm ready to start entering grades into my gradebook. They should all sync over into eSchool, unless of course I choose an invalid date or I don't select a map category. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask either myself or you may ask any of your Schoologists. Thank you.